everyone. Welcome to another episode of Pulse Point by Synpulse, where we discuss topics that are top of mind for wealth leaders. And my name is Jenya Tkachenko. I'm a manager and also the host. And today with us, we have Dan Rosen of Digit. Dan, welcome. It's so great to have you here today.
Thanks for having me, Jenna. It's really, really exciting.
Yes.
I very much look forward to it.
Excellent. Dan, would you like to give an overview or an intro about yourself?
Digit is an enterprise wealth management platform that delivers scale and operational efficiencies to multifamily offices, RIAs, and independent advisor, broker-dealers, bank advisory network. Digit is powered by an institutional-grade analytics engine and performance and risk. And really, its goal is to deliver on-demand analytics to multiple workflows for wealth management, whether it's reporting, trading and compliance, billing, client advisory, all the client engagement. A big part of our goal was always to deliver the best digital experience for advisors and their clients so that the advisors can elevate their engagement and really have much more meaningful engagement with their clients.
Got it. And so what was the gap in the market that you noticed, and what made you want to start your own company?
Before starting Digit, my previous company, R Square Financial Technologies, we had built it was a multi-asset portfolio management system for institutional investors, for hedge funds. We got acquired by Standard & Poor's. I was running the risk analytics group at Standard & Poor's. And at the time, we had several of our hedge fund clients independently coming and telling us, this thing that you built for us, you need to go and talk to the wealth guys, to multifamily offices. You have no idea how much this is needed. So I went and talked to every wealth management firm that I could get my hands on and that I could get introductions to. And we kept hearing the same story. Wealth management firms, advisory firms are underserved by modern technology when you compare them with institutional investors, with investment banks. And a big part of it is they have these siloed, old technology that basically, when you think about it, they do reporting in one place, trading in another place, billing in another place. And when a client comes with a question, they have a bunch of MBAs or people in the background trying to put in some reportings and really not having the ability to provide on-demand answers to clients. And that was my experience as a client. I always had this thing where my advisor would go and tell me, oh, that's a really good question. Can I get back to you Tuesday next week? And my point was, why? Mm-hmm. And when I was engaging, it's like, what would you want? It's like, and I would take out my phone. It's like, I would want to have all the information I want at my fingertips. We should be able to have that information. Hedge funds do that. Top investment do that. But for some reason, that was not the standard engagement on the wealth space. So we found this big gap for providing and having the right analytics and a rich set of tools and information for advisors to engage much better with their clients.
Mm-hmm. And so what was the category, or how are these challenges bucketed, would you say, if you were to define some sort of general trend with what you were trying to solve for?
So when we think, and I have one of our top clients in the U.S. is BBR Partners, and one of the partners there, when we actually did presentation in a conference, and when the presenter asked her, what is it about Digit that you like? She summarized it in very nice terms, which I like to use. She said, you guys are the fastest and the prettiest. And by that, what she meant is you have an engine which is really, really powerful. and allows us now to answer questions from our clients, to really be able to provide much deeper information to our clients on demand. We're able to put it through multiple workflows. We're able to do that. So the analytics component is a really, really important. That's what powers everything around that. But then it's the ability to deliver it in an easy to use way for the advisor to engage with the client. So it's not only about providing great analytics to get much better portfolios or rebalancing and do a lot of efficiency in the background. That's really important. But really it's about client engagement and the ability to do that. So when I think of when we were starting the company and we were trying to engage, a big goal of ours was really to figure out how the engagement between the advisor and the client would be much more digital. Instead of reports that you get on a quarterly basis, on a PDF or on paper, really how can the advisor provide their clients with tools for them to look at things and answer the questions on their own, but also to really just have much more meaningful conversations about what are the goals, what you want to do, and how can we best address it.
You talked about analytics, and AI, of course, is now a really big buzzword on the market. How do you see that affecting your business and what you're doing?
Well, of course, that's a question that's in everyone's mind. And what about AI? And I think AI is an amazing tool. It's actually, I see it as a great new technology. It's transforming everything. And the equivalent that I would think about it is the actual development of laptops, and so that everyone can have a computer on their own, or cloud computing. Now everyone is in the cloud and has cloud computing. You would never have a system like ours that's not in the cloud. Everyone will get there. And it's a toolkit that is going to be embedded in everything we do. AI is the same thing. I think it's an amazing new technology that's providing a lot of capabilities around that. But it's not, I think, from the wealth management perspective, it's just something that's going to be embedded in everything we do today. And it's going to help us answer questions faster, on the one hand. Also provide a lot of automation, which will allow, I think, advisors and wealth managers to spend more time with their clients and not having to reconcile data to get the right data in. I think the key component is, in the end, AI will not help advisors do what they couldn't do before. It'll just help them do it much better, much more efficient, much faster. And I can give you several examples. And my view is that the whole discussion on AI around advisory firm and investment, it has to be about a data-first strategy. If you have bad data in there, if your data is not great, and if there's things that you can't compute today, AI is not going to help you. AI will make all of that information available much faster and allow people to answer questions on the fly. But it's not going to make the data better on its own. It will help us do all the back office to reconcile the data. But I think that the key goal is for wealth management firms to have great data, reconciled, accurate, with great analytics, so that they can go and really focus on what clients need to do. And this is a key component. And once that is set up, then AI will allow the advisor just to answer much faster questions on the fly. The idea of an advisor just having a toolkit where, instead of going when a client comes in and going and getting all the client information, doing the thing, just being able to go and say, this client is coming in, go and get me the data. What are things that I should be focusing on? What are trends in the market that might be affecting my client? Well, if you could answer those questions before, even if it took you some time, now you'll be able to answer them on the fly. You'll have something, a tool that will allow you to summarize the data, be able to focus on, and give you additional ideas. And have you thought of maybe addressing the following things because I see that?
Mm-hmm. And do you see any challenges? Because, we talk about AI a lot. AI is a buzzword. It seems like there's only pros to adopting this technology, but do you foresee that there are any challenges for companies in this adoption?
In wealth management, and I think in finance in general, there are some important challenges. And I think the biggest challenge has to do with data security and data privacy. The last thing, if you're an advisor, the last thing your clients want is for data that recognizes, et cetera, about their wealth and what they own. And this is very, very sensitive information that wealth management firms have about their clients. And the most important things is clients need to be able to trust. However, if we're not careful, whatever happens in these AI models and these training sets, how the data flows in and what happens to it is truly a black box. And so the first thing that all wealth management firms need to do, and providers like us, is make sure there's a very clear data privacy and security layer, that where we're making sure that first, none of the data goes to train any of these AIs so that the data ends up there. All of the data is always anonymized, et cetera, as it goes in, and when it goes out, it's only for the advisor to be able to do that. So really being able to handle that and being able to secure the environment is absolutely key. And I don't hear about it. I think this is important, but it's a very specific thing and requirement, I think, for wealth management firms. That's the first one. The second one is, as I said, in the end, you can make things very flashy, but if you don't have great data in, whatever comes out of these AI models is going to be as good as whatever went in. So having really great data accuracy with a great analytics engine, that has to be part of the overall component. And those are important important considerations as everyone is thinking of deploying them and making them. I mean, it's a very, very exciting future, but we have to make sure that we do it the right way.
Mm-hmm. Got it. So on the topic of challenges, maybe let's pivot away from AI, but generally in the market, what are you seeing right now as the critical issues that banks and wealth management companies are looking to solve?
I can think of quickly three key trends that are important challenges, but more importantly, opportunities for wealth management firms, and where technology will play a very, very important role. Number one, there's a big generational transfer of wealth going from baby boomers to Gen Z and even all the further generations. Younger people engage much more differently with data, and the ability to give this new generation tools that they can relate to is absolutely key. Number two, advisors now, if they can provide all this information to their clients, they can take a much more meaningful role as mentors, as coaches, and spend much more meaningful time with their clients and with younger generation clients or with multi-generation families, really discussing how best to use the wealth to achieve their goals and what they want to do. And that can create much more meaningful relationships and engagement. So we see technology as an enabler for that one. And three, it's the ability to really provide even more sophisticated solutions at scale for their clients, which today does not allow them because of the amount it takes to produce the information and get everything done. So that can be streamlined much better. Advisors can now spend much more meaningful time with their clients.
So we talked a little bit about challenges in the market that technology could help solve. Do you have any specific use cases or examples of like end client impacts that this technology would help address?
I can give you definitely some examples, and I would want to bucket them into a few places. One is, let's talk first about scale and operational efficiencies. Recently, as one of our clients was deploying the full solution to a new group of advisors that they were bringing in on the platform. One of the advisors from that group in their annual meeting actually stood and was talking about the fact of how before to go and rebalance their entire client portfolio would take them 3 to 4 days to prepare and then to execute and etc. And he basically said, I've saved now 12 hours a day during this space by just having this being able to be done at scale with the right analytics and being able to go through the whole compliance workflow around that. What that created is that ability. I was not even expecting that, and it was something great to do. And I would like, did someone record this, please? It's one of the best compliments. So with the right technology, if you can produce it in the right way, that actually allows advisors to deliver a much more powerful operation at scale. One of the things I was starting to hear was, not only we can do that, now we can do maybe more sophisticated things. Maybe we can bring in some additional products that might have been a little bit more complex to do and would have taken us time. Now we can actually do it at scale. So that's one very specific use case that we found very meaningful. We hear it the same also in the production of reports, where again, clients telling us how their quarterly reports production was taking them 2 to 3 days, 2 to 3 people. Once this is done, reconciling was really hard. Finding issues was very hard. Once you can actually stream it with everything pre-reconciled and done on scale, just became something they could do in a couple of hours, for example. And that's one category. The second one is on client engagement. This thing of I'll get back to you. I don't want to have it. One of the advisors was that we were working with at some point. That's a quote they gave me. When I said, "What is one of your biggest worries?" he said, "I truly don't want to tell a client I'll get back to you. It just doesn't look good. It means we don't have the information that we need. It means almost that we're not prepared, even though it takes us hours to prepare." So what we've heard from some advisors, that ability of now coming to a client meeting and not having to take 2 days to prepare, but really having the information on the fly, being able to put it together, figuring out what the key issues are, and being able to prepare really a meaningful guide with the client is something that we hear quite a bit. And where the advisors just find they use their time much more efficiently, but also they engage with the client, and the clients just love it. That happens. A third one that we hear, and this is a very, very simple one, is with our clients, we provide advisors with that advisor dashboard, advisor application, where they can really do sophisticated things, but also the advisors give their clients a mobile or a web portal where they can provide information to their clients really, really efficiently. And it's kind of, think of your banking app, but now imagine your banking app that really gives you good information. Not only gives you your balances, how much it was, But really, you can go and look and ask questions about it. And if you hear something in the market, can you go and engage? And one of our clients, as we were doing that, their reaction was like, "Oh my God, finally we have a client app that goes with our brand. Like we have this high net worth brand, we're sophisticated, etc. Now the clients are like, oh my God, this is great." And there's one specific thing that we do very efficiently in the client portal that also we've heard great feedback about, where the advisor can be having the discussion with their client, showing them a report or some analytics in their advisor dashboard. And once the discussion happens, the advisor can actually literally click and pass that view to the advisor portal, so that to the client portal, so that the client can really go and use it and go deeper, et cetera, et cetera. So that ability of making the engagement, the digital engagement, interactive, not just is another one that we see really as a powerful tool.
So Dan, we talked about serving wealth management companies and independent advisors, but do you find that there's a difference between the technology that they're using versus big enterprises?
I think that when we talk about enterprise wealth management firms and banks, really we're thinking now that the wealth tech stack has to really be embedded into a much broader service component, which is the bank, who delivers everything from bank deposits and mortgages, et cetera, to their clients. And that's number one. Second, it's all about scale. You need to now be able to provide analytics and information on demand to a very, very large number of clients. So you need a really powerful analytics engine that can be embedded into the current wealth tech stack. It's not about just putting in an application. It's about really providing a powerful technology platform that fits within there and is able to feed multiple workflows. The example would be, if you're a bank, you probably need to provide all of these to, say, millions of accounts and hundreds of thousands of clients in a seamless way, in a reliable way. And that is very powerful. So when we thought about Digit, a big component that we thought of building it was really making our technology modular with the best new tech stack and with great APIs that could be called and could be easily integrated within a broader tech stack that would be required at an enterprise firm.
So Dan, we talked a little bit about AI, we talked a little bit about current challenges, but now let's think a little bit more down the road. What are you most excited for, technology-wise, industry-wise, in the upcoming, let's say, decade?
I think the wealth management space is truly fascinating, and I think the way it works today is going to be very different than in the next 10 years. And we discussed a little bit some of the trends that got us there, but I think those trends are really going to hyper grow over the next decade. Of course, one is there's a much younger generation that needs digital tools to be engaged. That is going to be, I would foresee that happening and being the core. I truly think one of the biggest trends, and you started to hear about it in the last 2 years, and maybe it sounds a little bit superficial, but I think it is actually really powerful. I think it's a client-first engagement. It's really looking it's not an investment-first engagement. It's about the client first. What does the client want to do and how to engage? And there's tons of great new technology about how to talk about goals, financial goals, how to link them with personal goals, how to link investment into that. And I see that being a big discussion at the core of how things work. We've been working this is one of my areas of research. On academic research has been always on portfolio optimization, but really on thinking about on goals, on how to think of client goals and how to make investment fit the goals, and not just think of how do I get my investment to be the best possible. Best possible for what? It really is about putting clients at the center. So that putting client at the center has all of that. And I think then thinking of technology also to think about that, not only of thinking of, the advisor needs to produce all of these things, but how do you turn it around and think the advisor needs to engage with their client in the most efficient way? How does that translate on what's required? And I think so putting in that engagement, how to make it more meaningful. We talked about mentorship and coaching. I think that providing advisors with tools to do that, and that whether that's investment tools, other technologies, etc., to go and elicit and have the clients be able to understand better what they want to do and how best to perform. That's a key tool. So a client first wealth management engagement, I think, is going to be there, and it's key. And I find that area fascinating. Of course, AI is going to allow us to engage with our technology in much better ways. I see that coming in multiple areas, and I think there's a scary part to it. I think we all are, but I think it's massively exciting. I don't think that AI today, the way we have it today, is truly powerful enough to substitute humans completely. I think the way to think about it is not only what AI can do to substitute humans, but what can it do that we cannot do? Well, we cannot go and do computations. Like, that's why we brought in computers. Well, AI can also help us do that. We cannot go and engage with thousands of clients and figure out what's important for them that easy. And AI is very good at doing those things. So I'm of the opinion that focusing on what AI is really, really good. AI, it's like Waze. Like, Waze knows everything about the roads that I cannot see. Humans cannot go and see what's there in 1 or 2 or 10 kilometers and whether there's a car crash. Waze can do that. Google Maps can do that. Much, much better. Humans will never be. So the human with that information now becomes a really, really powerful tool. So we are not as good at looking at investment and optimizing investment and looking at thousands of opportunities and figuring out. Computers are great at doing that. With AI, we're going to do that much, much better. So I find that ability of making AI a normal tool the same way as a calculator, like the way I think about it, I think of my parents when they first saw a calculator. That must have been fascinating for them, right? Like, they didn't need to sum things. They could now do that stuff. My dad was an accountant. I remember the first mechanical and electrical calculator he had to do the stuff. And he became so much more productive and so much faster and et cetera, right? I think of AI exactly the same way. We're all going to use it. It's going to be there. There's no question. I mean, I have my AI open all the time now, and I ask questions all the time when I want to know something. I go and ask ChatGPT.
I think we all do.
Right? Like it now is there to answer questions. Now imagine this is now embedded in all the stuff we do. We're not going to even see it. It's going to be just part of most of the things we do. And from the wealth side, I think it's going to get it's going to get advisors in a much more meaningful way, but it's also going to help. I mean, people talk about democratizing wealth management. I think it's really going to help bringing that high-level service, high-touch services down to the market to more people. You won't have to be a millionaire to get a high-touch service from a wealth management firm. I think you will be able to get much better investments. People will be able to talk about goals and really talk about retirement much earlier. And that would be a great thing, because I don't think that If you go and look at surveys of how well people are prepared for retirement today, in most countries, this is not a great thing. And this is something that I think can become much, much better and can have a great influence.
With these companies that are maybe more resistant to change and are perhaps slower or more apprehensive to adopt these technologies, what do you think are the challenges that they're going to face, and how do you think they're going to miss out, if at all?
I think that change is coming. It's inevitable. In some places, it'll be a little bit slower, and that's okay. Um, but and that's okay. But I think some firms are going to, if they don't catch up, they are going to see particularly younger generations moving in to more modern wealth management services, more modern places where they can relate to, and maybe find that they have someone there who's now driving them and helping them understand things. I mean, we didn't talk about finance education. I think that's a big issue and a very, very important issue. I think some of these technologies, and if these services become better, will help us close that gap a little bit, and making sure that newer generations are much more financially literate than some of our previous generation, and even our generations. I think that will be better because it'll be easier. Like, you don't have to focus now in how to compute things, but really in understanding the concepts and figuring out how that affects you in an easier way. So if you make it easier for people to see, if I invest today and I put in this amount of money, this is how much money I would have, and this is exactly how it would be, and these are the specific risks that you're taking and the things that you need to be thinking. If you make it easy for people, I think we'll have a much more engaged younger generation that will be in much better financial state. And I think that's something that technology can really help us get there.
Given all of these changes in the industry, given, all the trends that we discussed in terms of the next decade, year or so, how do you see platforms like Digit evolving with all of these upcoming changes?
We need to be part. I mean, we from the very beginning have to be part of that change. So I think our platforms. I mean, when I think of Digit, we have been growing really rapidly. We have over 80 clients now in the US and in Canada. We really are thinking the demand is there, and we are expecting a huge growth over the next few years. So what is critical, and this is something I talk to our team all the time, what is critical is as all of these technologies come in, it still is about having the best data, the best infrastructure, in being able to provide everything with a great engine, and et cetera. If we can do that, then all of these tools can be deployed in a much broader way. It'll be a lot easier. As I think technology will play a bigger role on the wealth space, so I see companies like us playing a bigger role in enabling advisors to really provide a much more meaningful engagement with their clients and helping their clients lead much more meaningful and better lives. If we can just participate a little bit on that, that would be great. I do think that's very important. I think the other part is, and I didn't talk about it, but I mean, in the end, I've been building risk management systems, and risk is a big concept that we've embedded all throughout our company and our services. And I think talking to people about risk and having people understand the risk, the fact that markets go up and down, that every investment that you take, if you want to get a higher return, has more risk, but really thinking of the risk of not meeting your goals and how that relates to everything is key. So also helping people understand risk and navigate it through their lives, so that it doesn't become as stressful is something very important, because that risk will always be there. And I think that that's something where a very specific area where advisors can really help their clients just be happier.
We talked a lot about technology helping to give time to the advisor to have more meaningful connections with their clients. But at what point do you think technology will not be able to replace an advisor?
So it's a very good question. So up to where does technology go on the wealth engagement cycle with our clients, and where is an advisor, a human being needed, right? I mean, I think that's what it boils down to. And I think the answer is, in the end, financial decisions are, first, some of them are really, really important and are critical in people's lives. But more importantly, they're really emotional. And in the end, many of these emotional decisions, you do not want to go and have them with a chat box. You want a human being who's going to walk you through them, who's going to engage with you, understand, and also elicit more information on the fly that might be easier to give on a spreadsheet or etc. So that human engagement becomes absolutely critical. Technology can help even enhance and increase the need. As one example that I like using is the growth of personal trainers. In this age where technology is now available in videos, etc., anyone can go and do a training or figure out what's all the schedule to go and learn how to go a marathon or to do weights on their own. There's enough on YouTube, on any of these websites. Yet there's more personal trainers now than ever before, and people go and do them. Why? This is a very hard thing to do. And people are much better when they have someone who can keep them on track, who also know more about the topic than we do, and are able to use that information in a much more effective way to do it. People need to re-engage with that. Yes, you can have a watch today that can actually measure your heart rate and your blood pressure, and that will help you train better. But is that all you need to go and run, or you rather join a run club and have a coach actually helping you achieve your goals better and faster in a much more humanly way?
Interesting stuff, Dan. I really enjoyed our conversation and learning about the intersection of finance, human behavior, and technology, and how everything is very, very enmeshed and only going to become more so in the future.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been really, really fun. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.